Hello everybody and welcome to my next tutorial. My name is Maltanan and I've got a short story for you. Few weeks ago, all evil forces joined their power to stop me from recording new tutorials, and I was fighting with them, like all the time, and my server was fighting with them, and we both died. My server died for a week, and I was dead for a few weeks also. But then when I went down to hell, um, I took them by surprise when they didn't expect it, and so now I'm back, and I'm back with a new tutorial, especially for you. And today we're going to do some object removal. This is the final result of what we are going to do, and let me just close this down. Um, where is the project window? Where is the project window? Here it is. Okay, and this is the original footage, so we are going to get rid of this little guy in here, and also we're going to get rid of those nasty spots in here. I hope you can see them. See, some spots, some dirt on the wall, and we are not going to get rid of this crack in the wall because I kind of liked it. Okay, so as you can see, we have a camera moving in this picture. So what we are going to do is we are going to track the footage and then go to Photoshop and remove this little fellow in here, and then come back and fix the problem. So let me just start from scratch. Let's just delete all this, and first of all let's import our footage, and let's make a new comp. That's right. And now the first thing to do is to somehow move this frame or this frame, but I think this one will be much better. The first step is to move this frame into Photoshop, and we all know how to do it: file, export, or just render, or do for example a proxy file, like create proxy still or whatever. But there's also a cool After Effects plugin that I would really like to recommend you, and it's called Obvious FX Copy Image. And there's also the second one, Erodation or Erodilation, something like that. And they are both free, so I really encourage you to download them, because you have this function when you install copy image inside the edit menu, and this is obviously something that was missing from After Effects all this time. So copy image. Now let's move to Photoshop, file, new, okay, paste it in. We can also use a pixel aspect ratio. I think this is the one, this one, but it doesn't change anything really. So now let's get down to removing this object. This would be much easier if we wouldn't have this shadow, angled shadow in here, because now when we try to do something like this, we cannot aim this correctly, and besides, most of you probably think that we should use the patch tool to do something like that, and this is basically right. But as you can see, we get those nasty spills in here and in here. Maybe because I've selected this not the right way. Let's try it. This should do. Well, in fact, it's not that bad, but we have a nasty spill going on in here, so we'll try to get rid of it. You know what? Let me just create a new adjustment layer. Levels, I think, so we can see this a little bit better. Then we will remove it, of course. And now let's go to Healing Brush tool. And here's a cool tip for you. When you're dealing with straight lines or angled lines, basically something that is a line or a pattern, it's always hard to align the brush to the source point, right? So what I always do is to, of course, select the source point. So hold the Alt key on your keyboard and then just choose the source point, and always try to choose something that is, a straight line or something that you can identify in the other parts of the image. So I'm choosing this line in here. I click to select the source point, and then when I'm trying to start painting with this brush, I hold the Alt key again to align the brush just like I did in the source point, but then I let it go and I just start painting. So it goes like this. But of course I need to be on this layer, not on the adjustment layer. Okay, sorry for that. So let's go again. Alt click. Now Alt to align the brush. Let go of the Alt and paint over. Voila. And in this area I think we can use a patch tool. It should do okay. That's right, and the same goes for this area in here. So the next thing to do is, let me just go to After Effects for a second. As you can see, this guy moves around a bit, and we really don't want that. And well, I mean, we want him to move, of course, but it makes things a little bit difficult, and we would have to just recreate the part of this background. So there are several ways to do it, but in this case I think we will just select this part of the image, copy and paste it over so it pastes in the exact same position, and do the same thing with this part of the image, copy paste so it pastes in the exact same place like before. And now let me just stretch this out a bit and do the same with this one. So Ctrl T, free transform tool, and to do that precisely just drag this and it should snap, as you can see. Okay, and now let's just shift drag this like so, and then let's just turn the opacity down a bit and maybe change the mode to difference so we can align this with the original shadow like so. Control and arrows allow you to move the layer up and down or left and right. Okay, that's it. And let's go back to 100. And we don't want this crack in the wall in this case, because we want to keep the original. So let's just go ahead and remove it. Just we don't have to be really precise in this, because this is not going to be visible anyway. I'm using the healing brush tool, and that's it. And now we would like to merge those two layers, so select them both and press Ctrl E on your keyboard. So now we have one layer, and now we have to create a mask. And why is that? Because now we want to reveal the original like so. So we keep the shadows and the lights exactly as they were, but we will just paint over this guy like so. And you can obviously see that this color is a bit darker, but you don't have to worry about that, because it is going to be covered by this guy in After Effects, because we are going to draw a mask. So I think this is basically okay. Let's get rid of the adjustment layer, and now let's just make a square selection, rectangular selection. Let's just crop the image to this selection and let's save this as a JPEG or whatever. Wall JPEG. Yes, overwrite. Highest quality. Okay. And we're all ready to go. So let's go back to After Effects. And now, let's just import this footage, of course. And first of all, when you just put it into the comp, you see that the size is not right, and this is because the pixel aspect ratio. So as you can see, this one is 1.3 and this one is 1.0, so we have to interpret the footage right. And to do that, just select, I think this is the one in this case. That's right. And see how it matches? Okay, now we can just turn it off for now, and we have to track this footage. So to do that, just go to Window and Tracker Controls and select Track Motion. Let's just zoom in. And this is obviously not the best thing to track because we have a low contrast, so it's good to have a bigger track point in this case. And also you would like to check your options and see what you're really tracking. Is it RGB, luminance, or saturation? And in this case, I think I will enhance the image before applying the tracker. So I think we're ready to go. Track forwards. Well, I think it's doing pretty well. This will take a second. The bigger the track point, the longer the tracking will take, but in some cases you really want to wait so the tracker tracks correctly, like this one. As you can see, we have a perfect track, at least it looks like it. And the thing I will always do when tracking, I create a null object that will hold the tracked data, so tracking data camera, because it is much easier to manage that way. Later on you have more flexibility, more things you can do with those tracking data, because normally you would apply them to a layer, but then you have to change the keyframes and stuff like that. And if you just apply it to the null object and then parent what you want to move with the tracking data to this null object, then you can animate the layer the way you want it, and it will still follow the tracking data. Am I clear or not? Never mind. Just wait and see, and everything will be clear. Okay, so let's click on Edit Target, TD Camera, and let's hit Apply, and that's it. And now, as you can see, we have this tracker following our track point pretty well. And now let's turn the layer back on, and let's parent it to our null object, and as you can see, everything is going smoothly. So and now we have to draw a mask, but we can do it in two ways. First of all, we can draw a mask around this layer, or we can move the footage layer up and then draw a mask around this guy. And I think this is what I'm going to do. So let me just zoom in, and we don't have to be really precise. You know what? Let me create just an adjustment layer with some levels, so I can see things a little bit better. That's right. Okay, so let's draw a mask. Like so. We don't have to be really precise because we will fix this later. And you know what, let me just turn off the mask for now and click on mask shape so we can animate it, and let's start animating. So control right arrow to move to the next frame, and like so. We can move a few frames forward. We don't have to do it, frame by frame. This guy is moving in a general up direction, I think so. And we can always feather the mask later on, so we don't have to be, very precise on this. Okay, I think that's right. Control Shift right arrow, so we're moving 10 frames forward. The only thing to remember is to keep the this dirt out of the mask shape, so we're doing just that, and now we really don't have to be that precise. And we are ready to go. So now let's go back, let's turn the mask back on, and let's see how it looks. But first, we're going to create a rectangular mask that will overlap our layer in this area and in this area. Let me just turn off the adjustment layer and make a quick RAM preview. Well, it looks okay for me. So, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I really encourage you to downloading those obvious effects from obviousfx.com or from my website, maltanan.com. And I hope you will join me in the future in the battle between the forces of good and evil. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Cheers.